So let's see here. Not clear. Alright, so here we'll look at the trades from PRFX. So Friday morning nothing was looking good into the open, and then as the bell rung, I mean we had like 3 to 4 stocks that just halted up. All of them I was watching on my side monitor, but I got a little distracted and I ended up missing the first halts. In any case, right? I was watching PFRX here. You know, the other stocks resumed as well, but PFRX was one of our leading gappers and it looked a little bit more interesting on the daily as well. The highs, the pre-market highs weren't too far off, relatively speaking. I mean, only $2 to $1 a share, but so it's gonna resume at with 11 seconds. Right here, I'll just give you a quick little. I'll paint the picture before you look at the trade. So here, I'm like, okay, there's a critical level of 9, a whole dollar, right? People like to short or sell or line up their orders there. You know, if it breaks 9, this thing's gonna squeeze. It's the dip always gets bought up after the first halt. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Showing 93. And we resume. Well, I'm not even playing. We resume here, right? I see these sellers at 9. I'm like, okay. They thin out, it dips there, it comes back. I see green on the tape. I add there. Goes to 12, right? Goes to 12. It only broke by a little bit. I almost hesitated there. I thought it would just go right immediately, right? You know, in hindsight, I didn't even give it room. Hit 9. I added here. Hit 912. Hit 912 twice. A little red on the tape. More red on the tape, and then it dips to 899. I'm like, okay, this thing might reverse. But again, man, in hindsight, I should have gave a little bit more room on the halt. I had a good entry at 9. You know, I took a stab. I was expecting it to go immediately, but in any case, I'm down 40 there. I lost about 8 cents. No biggie. So it hit a high there of 25. Pulls back to about 909, 906, 912. So now it's hitting its head a little bit lower, and then we get a flush, right? We got a flush down to 88. On the 5 minute, it looks like a just huge rejection. The 1 minute's also a bit, we don't like to see it pull back more than 50% of the move, right? So then here, right there, you saw that burst of green, right? So I started watching it there. I'm like, okay, I see all that green. I'm like, okay. Also, a thing to note, the next candle would be the first candle to make a new high after a pullback. So with that green on the tape and the candle closing, I'm like, okay, maybe over 9. On the 10-second, I'm looking for an entry to see, okay, over what level can we get a possible crack, right? So I'm like, okay, more green on the tape at 82. More green. Right here, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna add, waiting for sellers to now. I add there, 899, 909, 915. Hits at 915, dips down, 917, 923, 923. It's kind of straddling here. Come on. 914, 919, a little bit more green on tape. I thought it was gonna snap there. It hit its head there at 23, 24 a few times, and then I'm like, okay, I need to bail out of here. What I didn't notice was the flat top there at 24. I had a good entry from 9, so I should have given it a little bit more room. And now in hindsight, you'll watch now, it just squeezes up 2 seconds, watch. 21, and now we're at 30. Literally 1 second before. Man, like you're kidding. I sold at 18, now it's at 30. I'm like, okay. Hit a high there of 30. So now the next level to watch is 958. On the 1 minute, you can see I have that level drawn out. 40's pin there. Adding right there, 42. That would have been my ad spot right now, but it kind of straddles here near the, but then it straddles, jumps, and then it goes to 962. Oh, interesting there. So you see how it did that little skip, right? Look it goes to 40, 42, 45, 42, 45, 50, and then now at 62. Dips to 52. I saw it as a dip, right? I'm like, okay, we might get the next leg up. 60, I mean, it goes to 60, pinned at 60, and then we get that flush, right? I'm like, man, are you kidding? 42, 45. So we see 42, 45, 45. So in my head, I was thinking over 950. This looks good. But then it hits that little 50, 62, and I'm like, okay, now I missed the trade. It pins there at 62 today. How many sellers were lined up there at 62? Oh, 4 sellers there at 62. I add there on the dip. Comes back to 60. Can't even go to 62. Sellers line up at 59. So, I mean, there's writing on the wall here. So we'll add there, because I missed that the first time I was reviewing. How many sellers did we see line up? 962. Oh, it just happened so quick. I mean, you blink, you missed it. 2-4. Okay, so now it makes sense now. So we'll add, call these data sets. So, I mean, sellers lined up at 62, right? Like, okay, it dips at 50, and then it bounces immediately. I'm like, okay, here we go. But then it rejects here, 59, and then look at that, 2, 4, 6 sellers at 59. I mean, that's writing on the wall there, right? And then we get that red on the tape, and then we get that flush, but then it pops back up. So then I just kind of sell for how much of a loss? Oh, wow. Okay, that shouldn't have been a 25-cent loss. What is this? That's because I bailed on the bid. Man, I'm getting cut up here. And then take another. Wow. So this all happened back to back to back. So after that loss, still I'm not looking at the 10-second chart. Another 14-cent loss. And then I start dialing in. I'm like, okay, I'm not dialed in. I'm just taking random trades. I have to. Wait, let's just go back there. What did I trade there? It was for the break of 960. As a pin there. It pins. The seller thins out. Look at. But then it just crashed. I'm like, what? Yeah, that's one of my data sets. Data sets June. What was yesterday? June 13th. As it began to stack up there, I sold. And then I actually dial in, right? So here I just had a 24-cent loss and a 14-cent loss. A 26-cent loss, actually. So 30. So I'm down 40 cents on 500 shares. And then, I mean, there's a clear flat top at 67. I drew it out on the 10-second. And I'm like, okay. Over 70, I add depending on if there's sellers nearby. Let's stick me on the tape. I add right there. Straddles for a bit. Dips down. Hits 70 again. And just rips through. So you had to almost anticipate it there. You give it a little room. It goes to 80. Hits 80. Here when it was spinning at 80, I really wanted to get that snap through. The candle had just opened. The volume profile looks good. I decided to hold. Like, can we get that? Just squeeze through 90, and then maybe take it off at 90, and then buy the breakout of 10. We got 83, 86, 97, 85. It's pinned here. 97. Hit 95. I try to take it off the table there. And I take it off the table there. Sold at 92 from 70 to 20 to 92. So that was a 22-cent winner. 93. I'm still watching here for the break of 10. 93. 7. Adding right there. And then here, again, I know what level I want to sell at. The halt level, 1024. I want to ride it all the way up through. It has strength here. Leading gapper. Got a good entry at 10. I mean, stop loss break even. Just ride it. Stop loss break even. And sure enough, we get the haul from down 150 up 85. No, looking good now. So it ends up halting. And I'm like, nice, I got back in the green. So on resumption, it's in 2 seconds, right here, 1055, 1070. So it just skipped up 20 cents, 1070, 70. Over 70 looks good. Right in right there at 70, you know, it dips down all the way. You'd be holding here. I mean, you eventually get the crack, right? But, you know, are you able to hold that long? And then just that squeeze through. So now I'm like, okay, watch the level back to 11. Adding right there at 11. You know, but it dips down again. So I was kind of sitting tight here. I was just watching the halt level. So now over 11, you saw that skip? Oh my god. 11, 70, 80, 11, 1120, 11, 1128, 11, 1112, 1111. Now back to 11, 1110, 1150. So this was just kind of throwing me off, right? We're getting the 28, 11, 1110, back to 11, 1150. So no real ad spot here unless you took a trade over 11 or 1050. Right, but then it dips back down to 30, and then back up to 60. So I was kind of having a hard time here adding. So it dips down, second attempt there. You know, again, I'm not watching the 10-second here. The straddle's there at 81. Could have added on that dip there. Halt level moves up. Could have added there as well. But again, I'm not keeping track of. I'm not keeping track. So here, just add. It ends up halting. I don't take a trade. Was it 10-minute halt? It was. So we get a 10-minute halt. No, we don't. It flushes down Do you know the way? Do you know the way? So here I'm kind of setting up. I'm fumbling here. 1018. You know, you just get that immediate flush down, right? Just instantaneously. It's at 58. So this one we get a 10-minute halt on the way down. Or no, we get like a 15-minute halt because people were saying that it was a halt on the T12 and stuff like that. So it resumes. Bounces off VWAP there. Look at that. Interesting stuff there. So here, the reason I didn't want to buy, so you see on the 10-second chart, I drew out a level at 10. I saw, I mean, it was trading between the ranges of VWAP and that flat top, 956 to 10. Reason I was hesitant there to buy the break of 10, I didn't know when was a breakout, right? I'd be buying there at the top of the wedge, and you know, it could have dipped back down, dip back down, and not come up. So I was hesitant. It's good that I stayed, you know, I stayed my ground, I trust my gut. Like, no, this doesn't look good. Even though if it goes to 20, I'm like, okay. Wow. So this counter just opened. You know, again here for the break of 1050, doesn't look too interesting either, right? I mean, we already got two green candles off the dip. Now this could be back. This could be the backside of the move. The 5 minutes just went from 8 to 12. Or not from 8 to 12, but 8 for. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it went from 8 to 12. I mean, we're a little extended on the 5 minute. Not really too interested, or what is it? It doesn't look enticing whatsoever. So then we get that pullback there. I'm like, okay, is they gonna hold that level 1052? Again, waiting for a pullback there. Okay, that was good. Okay, let's write this down. So that was good right here. So we'll write on resumption. Between so in my notes I wrote, on resumption it immediately halts down. It then gets into this range on the 10-second, which I noticed, between the flat top being 1052 and the support being VWAP 959. I was hesitant buying the break of 10 since I didn't know it would break, and it was kind of just straddling, going sideways for a while. I didn't know if that was going to be, well, I'll rephrase, I didn't know if it would break out, meaning I'd be buying the top of the wedge, which is not ideally what you want to be doing in a wedge. You'd like to be buying the support and then sell at resistance. So we're getting a 1 minute pullback candle. The time is 42, right? So now we'd be watching it. It'd be very interesting. So now at this time, at this particular time, you'd be dialed in on the tape. Why? We want to see that green on the tape early on, so we get that initial confirmation, so we can maybe even anticipate the move, right? So I haven't watched the recording, so I'm not even sure if we get it or I even take this trade. So we'll see together. What do I do? I'll just point out what I see. 1060. Okay, we get that green on the tape. 27. Oh my god, this is... Please tell me I take this trade. Please! Oof. Not gonna lie. No! No, I sold too soon! Here, before I go to the restroom, I'll review why that was a terrible... Well, not terrible. It was a good anticipation. I honestly sold a little too soon. You know, I could have added way sooner. You know, we get that initial green on the tape. And we get that 20. Here, over 35, 40. I mean, you're adding. Here's where I would actually add. 27, 25, 27. Adding right there. 40. You're in at 40. No, I honestly... I don't know why my mic keeps acting up. I honestly added too late. You know, in hindsight... Okay, we're in this pullback candle. I added too late. Oh my god! Oh my god! This... ride it all the way up, man. Why am I punching the sell button here? I'm up, I'm trading P&L here. Hit a high of 74. And it just blasts this through. Ah. I mean, this was a ride all the way to just the halt level up. I mean, man, tons of green on the tape. You're adding right here. I added there at 10:55. It dips to 67. Yeah, so you'd be selling here. I mean, I missed out on no, I missed out on quite a bit of profit there. So ton of green early on. My hand hurts. I mean, that could have been an even better trade. I mean, not to discredit myself in any way, right? But I mean, I could have added earlier, held a little bit longer. I mean, that could have been an exceptional, extraordinary, world-class, splendid trade. I didn't take that trade over 88. Oh my god! And this is where I FOMO'd, huh? And then on resumption, I mean, the 1 minutes, I mean, kind of if you zoom out, right? You look at the bigger picture. I don't know why I don't know why my other chart is showing 12:17. My 5 minutes just, I don't even know what I'm looking at on the 5 minute. But in any case, the 1 minute, I mean, just looks like a grinder. Look kind of choppy. I mean, you could take profit if you're really paying attention. So then you move on to the 10-second. You look at the 10-second and say, it's just going in a side. It's just going sideways. It's in a wedge. Now you'd be watching it in a 1070s and see what it does, which is perfectly just now. 1070. We'll see what it does here. Okay, burst of green there. A little bit of red. I don't like that. 70. Straddling here at 70. 84, but then it pops up back there at 84. 88, 93, I mean, break of 11, adding, oh, I mean, no real entry there. And then it just dips down. Okay, I don't know where the hell the halt level went, but sure. Oh, I take a haircut here. You see how I tried to add there for the break of 12, but I didn't fail. Look, 1229. Adding right there. I wasn't quick enough. Now let's just where do I take the haircut, man? Oh, as it false halts. What am I buying there? Wow. So a little while there at 88. Now that I'm paying attention. Over 90, you're smashing that buy button. No real confirmation yet. There we go, adding right here. Well, let's see where I add. Finally broke by 91. There's a wall here. Hidden seller. I give it back? No. There's no shot I give it back. Oh! Haircut. How do I make the money back? I'm actually crazy for that. And I got a 50-cent winner here. Or a 40-something cent winner here. Wow. Very interesting.